Informative, educational, objective, inclusive, comprehensive. This is Progress Report. Updates and conversations from the Government Information Service.
Good day and welcome to another episode of Progress Report. My name is Ivan Khanna. I'm with my lovely co-host, Gleneva Hodge. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. She's actually like the star of this show. She runs this thing. I just carry out the orders. I'm not even joking with you. And today we have with us Mrs. Perrin Bradley. I'm going to get in trouble because Mr. Perrin Bradley, the Deputy Governor, is going to be on the show soon. Actually, I just got some messages today. Folks were listening to the show today with the Honorable Minister of Maiku, and I was like, man, I can't wait, because we gave them some insight that we're going to have Mrs. Bradley here, we're going to have the Deputy Governor, we're having a few people coming on. They was like, man, you guys got an all-star cast. Like, they're excited about it. And I started thinking about the Deputy Governor, because we were just talking about something off camera. So that's that little bit of a blunder there. But we have Miss Hyacinth Bradley.
Yes.
And you are, tell me your title.
I'm the Community Services Planner in the Ministry of Social Development and Education.
Okay, stop right here. Community Services Planner.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you that 70% of our audience didn't know that role existed.
Ouch.
And it's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of you. It's not a reflection of your department. But people think, I found out recently, people have been telling me, like, from the show, they understand what certain people do and what certain departments do. And that's part of why we do what we do here with the show. But you have a very critical role. You're about to launch something that's very exciting. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about your role, your department, what you serve. I did not even know there was a parenting, what we found out is called
the National Parenting
Policies or policy or act?
It's a program we're about to launch.
National Parenting Program. We have, like, I keep telling people, I'm getting excited now. I keep telling people, like there's structure. There's structure.
There's work being done.
There's work being done.
So persons may not know the title, but I could guarantee you persons do know me.
I know they know you.
And the work that I do.
And they know you more than COVID. That's gone. She does, no, for real, she does a lot. She is probably that, how can I sum this up? I think you're that little voice in a lot of people's head.
Oh wow, thanks.
And that's a good thing.
And that's a good thing.
A very good thing.
That's a good thing. Like, you're behind the scenes, you're somewhat intricately and intimately involved in a lot of the success stories that we've been seeing, a lot of the reform that we've been seeing, a lot of the correction of the ills in society that we've been gradually experiencing. And people gonna get to know that today, hopefully. So listen keenly and attentively, and I hope that she shares. She will, because she always wants to help people. So she will share information, how you can get more information, because we're going to be discussing some really important things today, right, Gleneva?
That's right. And I'm wondering whether Hayo is,
Yeah.
I'm just going to be very, Mrs. Bradley is Hayo to me. I've known Hayo from her days at DYC, and our walk in youth development, so we goes a ways back.
Definitely.
But I'm wondering whether this conversation will happen in English or Spanish today. I'm certain we'll get
so she's fluent in Spanish. She is fluenta in Espanol.
Oh wow.
You'd have filled my class.
I wasn't taking the class.
50%.
50%. I actually was better in French at school than Spanish.
Tu parles français un peu? Tu parles français aussi?
No.
Not bilingual, multilingual.
Yeah, I can see that. And I'm not even trying. I don't listen. You know what I speak now? I speak English, and I speak.
Anguillian.
No, ignore. I have a 13-year-old. Like, some things you just have to ignore.
And so on that note, we go right into. So, Hayo, tell us a little bit about your role as community services planner. What does that entail? And then we'll get into, the parenting program.
Okay, great. So the community services planner, as I said earlier, it falls under the Ministry of Social Development and Education. I'm supervised by Dr. Bonnie Richardson Lake. And my responsibilities are to work very closely as planner with the Department of Youth and Culture and Sports. Planner speaks to research, policy development, programming development, guidance, support, structure, strategic planning, etc. I'm also the chairperson within my role. I'm also the chairperson of the PAVE, Partners Advocating for Violence Eradication. So that's the National Anti-Violence Committee. We're kind of working on switching the term to say a national peace building body, and that's
I like that better.
Yes, being a more positive focus. And it speaks to, of course, identifying the challenges as regards crime and violence in the community, among families, young persons on the island, and looking for solutions, identifying solutions, doing some research. And we work collaboratively. I work collaboratively with a number of the entities, from education to social development to with the clinical psychologist.
That's exactly what I was going to ask, because, not to cut you off, when you mention all these things and we go back to it again, the connections everywhere.
Yes.
So I think we need to take back the Honorable Quincy Gomes Marie name, the bridge. Yeah, this is the bridge. Because there are connections everywhere. There's sports, there's clinical psychologist, education, social development, youth and culture, Department of, what do you call that stuff downstairs probation,
social development, also
yeah.
work with probation,
right,
some work through the prison. So, and of course, not missing out the community, the community persons, the family, the informal and formal leaders, the churches. So whatever I do, any of the areas I do, it touches or I work through. I work behind the scene as a planner, but I work on behalf and in support of work that's being done within the departments in social development with the unit, the gender affairs unit. I also work closely with that unit, and I also work with the community, be it I support the churches based on what is needed and the programming as requested, and of course the community youth development centers.
So that's what I was just about to ask. So those individual groups, even the uniform bodies, for perhaps Pathfinders and stuff, they will
work through the Department of Youth and Culture. So whatever support is needed with me, again, when requested or based on what is what task they're at, what research, what work, what project is being done, I will provide that support.
So where do you hide your cape? Because you sound like Superwoman. Where do you hide your cape? No, I'm being serious, because here's the challenge with that. I was a youth leader for a while, and I understand young people require a lot of attention.
I don't work alone. I work with persons. I believe a lot in collaboration and coordinating and supporting. So you may not necessarily hear Hyacinth, but you may hear a project and I could say, okay, I'm aware of that, or I supported in the development, I did some research, or I provided some guidance, etc.
Okay, so a lot of structure goes from what you do.
Behind the scenes, a lot of the behind the scenes groundwork.
But don't you have those touch points as well? Things that you do specifically, we're going to get into?
Well, yes, we're going to get into things that I do specifically. For example, the national, the new youth policy that was just launched, I would work as the coordinator of that project. Now I'm doing some review for a revised policy for the department, or strategic plan rather, for the Department of Sports. And we have some programs like the Fit Teen program, like the National Parenting Enrichment program, the Family First program that we'll get a lot more into. So the PAVE, the anti-violence or peace building initiatives, I may take a more front lead on that. But of course, I work with and through entities
I'm floored.
to get
And I was just here complaining, saying I'm tired, and I'm like, she's doing all this mentally. Like,
you know, while I was speaking, it just brings to mind how many different spaces that we've had the opportunity to work together on, and it's always, I can say, it's always a pleasure to work with Hayo. And I know you didn't mention it, but there's also the National Youth Conference that's coming up.
Oh yes,
that's
more. There's more.
Yeah.
This feels like, wow, those information. Wait, there's more.
I was actually telling Geneva we're just gonna be focusing on a tiny little bit of what I support with, or I coordinate or lead on, because there is a lot. And the conference that's coming next week is gonna be the 15th annual national conference. We started off in 2007.
Yes.
So
yeah. I'm excited for the National Youth Conference because it's going to be my final.
In your position.
It's going to be my final conference as a youth.
So there's an age?
Yes.
There's an age for youth?
Yeah, 35.
35?
Yes.
So why it can't be 40?
Well,
because you're old, Ivan.
Oh, Jesus.
That's to be subjective. We might have a definition on paper, but it's also a sentiment on how you feel.
Yes.
Okay, that's the stuff you tell people to make them feel better.
Some tears coming in.
I'm old.
So here's a term that we use. You have youth, and then you have experienced youth. So you're at the age of I am as well, and I just said I'm aging out.
Listen, I tell you on this show, my daughter asked me how was life in black and white. I think that's enough. I think I'm gonna accept my place in society.
There we go.
And
be comfortable.
So you touched a number of things. I just want to jump back to PAVE. I like the going to a more positive with the whole anti-violence, so you don't think, because it's more than anti-violence. I think you focus on life skills.
Yes, definitely.
A lot of conflict resolution, not just with persons but within yourself and knowing yourself and stuff. And it's more than anti-violence. So I'm happy that you're going in that direction. But I remember there was a video, little mini-series thing shot years ago. I recently acted in the second thing, so I'm waiting to see when that comes out. But what other initiatives probably in the oven on the table for that?
The beyond separate from the launch second season of Life.264.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about. We're also working very closely with the Royal Anguilla Police Force.
I think they should change their name too.
From Live.264?
No, from Police Force.
So when we get
Mr. Lynch, and what I'm going to say, I'll just speak briefly because Mr. Lynch is Commissioner Lynch. Basically, he initiated that thought. What happens in our identification of solutions for crime eradication, a number of entities, they tend to work in isolation. So the focus now, what we're doing is more of supporting family. So the focus, even if you identify a young person with deviance or committed some crime, the solution, the focus will not only be on that young person and getting them reformed, but also the entire family. So it's a supporting family program that we're looking at. Again, because you're going to have Commissioner Lynch, he will speak more on that. And again, I know we're going into the National Parenting Enrichment Program. That's something really huge. Within PAVE, Partners Advocating for Violence Eradication, that peace building initiative, it would have been established in 2015 formally, started off in 2013, but 2015 formally. We're looking at 4 areas. We have prevention, intervention, interception, and rehabilitation. Okay, so that focus was informed by community, young persons, incarcerated youth, elderly, and entities, government department, NGOs across board. So under each area, there are key activities or structures or programs that will identify as potential solution, potential strategies that could be used, that could be implemented to, one, reduce, to be proactive, to prevent, and also if it happens, or in motion, to intercept, and also rehabilitation, particularly those who would have been possibly through this in either haven, those on probation, those in the prison system, and stuff. So there's a lot.
There's hope.
And there is hope, and the strategy that we're using through our peace building initiative, although again we've been mentioning, but if you want to do work that's sustainable, if you want to do initiatives that has impact, we need to get the buy-in. And I believe you get more better fruits, you get better results when everybody feel that they're part of the issue. They could identify with the issue, not that they're supporting, but they can identify with that issue. They take a responsibility, and they support and lead on solutions.
Nice. So I'm gonna let Graniva take the lead, especially on the parenting part, because I can get emotional about things around this stuff. See how we trio there? Can we have some of the same emotions?
We've covered quite a lot and a bit of some heavy stuff as it comes to parenting, and so it's going to be good to get into this discussion in terms of what this program, and Ivan, I'm just jumping right in, and tell us about.
I want to know, and the listening public wants to know.
What does this program entail? What is the name? You said it several times, but reinforcement.
Yes.
What is the name? What is it essentially about? And who is it for?
Okay. I will start with who is it for. It's for everyone. The young, the old, the elderly, the caregivers, the young persons who wish to have a family in the future, grandparents, parents. Everybody. The Family First program, that's what it's called. So it's a national parenting enrichment program. It's a program that's designed, and I will tell you the background, because one of my postgrad, my master's degree is in policy development and management. So I will tell you how we came to the definition of that program and what it entails and why. So let me start from the thing to ensure that we get that. This program, the National Parenting Enrichment Program, the Family First program, it was identified from the initiation with PAVE. In every area, we've realized in our engagement, our discussion, our research, the support for family is needed, because again, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes a young person has an issue and we're quick to target the young person or even target the family. Right. What we realize, families, parents, they need support. Okay. They need the support. So the program is designed to provide parents with that support, and is to better understand themselves as an individual, as an adult, and in better understanding themselves, we believe that they'll be able to better parent an individual, to provide better care to an individual, and we'll get the fruits of having a better peaceful community and more peaceful Anguilla. So to develop that program, we had again a lot of research. We looked at what is out there. We reviewed a structure in Jamaica. We had discussion with Grenada and St. Lucia that had programs developed. We also we engaged our person's parents on the ground, from PTA meetings and discussion to our young persons that are in institutions, to our young persons in school, to our parents, to persons who are in caregiving positions, from health to community, to education, to babysitters, everybody we had that engagement with, to parents with children of special needs, to persons in government entities who have responsibility to looking at safeguarding of children. So we had that engagement, we had that discussion, we had over 20 focus groups, and we had them in we had discussions with our Spanish speaking community as well as our English.
How long? Sorry, not to cut you off. Just how long was this in the making?
And I'm glad that you've asked that. Okay, there's been in the making for possibly 3 years.
Wow, that sounds about right for a program of this.
Because you want to ensure that it really reflects our real challenges.
Right, and I had to ask that because I don't want somebody to feel like we got up in 2022 and say we're going to put this together. This has been something that you've been working on over the years, and you've taken in the historical context and live situations from pay, from other departments, the whole connection that's there. Because I was here sitting and thinking, and then when you spoke to exactly where things are going with it, and I wondered if any attention was given to marriage counseling in those early type families, but I gather that was done too.
We had a lot of, from pastors informing the clergy to counselors informing and engaging with us. We had a lot of stakeholder input.
Nice.
Not only desk work and picking up somebody's policy or their program and just transferring it to here. And that's why I mentioned my policy background. We really wanted evidence base. We really wanted that when that program is designed and launched and it's implemented in our community, in our clinics, in our institutions, that in our community centers at home, that it really speaks to genuine issues and challenges that our parents as individuals, as adults, as mommies and daddies have, and identify in discussion some potential possible solutions with them, along with them, that we could look at, and with hope that we could reduce some of the stressors, some of the challenges for parents, and of course make them be better at what they are tasked and charged to do.
What's the vision for this initiative?
I don't
want the written vision.
Okay, great. It's our hope that we'll have stronger families, we'll have stronger units, and if you have a stronger family, a stronger home unit, regardless of the formation of your home, that it would spill out in having a better and more connected community, and of course a more peaceful island, more productive island.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. No, I'm saying this because I'm very visual. You have an arduous task. I understand that you have persons and it's not just you.
No.
I get that, but I'm saying you because you're here representing all these bodies now. And this is something that's needed, because when we talk about this psychology of the youth today and the things that we face in the school, when we had Dr. Olufemi Banks Devonish on, and when we had the Chief Education Officer on, and when we had the Minister for Education on, now we're seeing that there's hope. I like what I'm hearing, that there's hope.
There's hope.
So we hear, and this is one of the things that I like. We know that there are issues. We know that there are problems. But we're not just saying that there are problems. We're saying that there are solutions to these problems.
Yes.
And so we're working towards finding ways and innovative ways to address some of these issues. And I really appreciate that you're taking the family first approach, and that we are saying support the family unit, whatever that family unit looks like. Because we have several different types of families, and we have families that look very different from your neighbor to yourself. But whatever your family unit looks like, I do sort of wonder, just taking into consideration, and know that you have taken a lot on board in terms of consulting with various stakeholders. But I know a lot of times we put programs out there and persons don't necessarily bite.
Okay.
So you create a lot of those. And in my mind and thinking about it, I think it is an excellent idea to have a parenting. It's the one job that you're just expected to go, you figure it out.
Yeah, I am happy you mentioned it that way. Usually or generally parenting engagements or parenting workshops or parenting discussions surrounds how can you better deal with that child. Okay, that child has this issue. As a parent, you should. From the National Parenting Program, I will speak to you on how it's going to be rolled out.
Okay.
The National Parenting Program or the Family First Program, it speaks to looking at the parent and making them be better versions of themselves. So our focus doesn't necessarily, although it will spill out to be that, but it doesn't necessarily speak to a parent like a Neva and tell her, okay, Neva, your daughter has some challenge, we had an issue, that's what you should do better. No. How are you as a parent? What are some of the concerns, the challenges that you have? How you think you could, what support you think is needed to make you a better person? And in return, you'll be able to parent that child.
Children learn what they live.
That is it.
So I'm happy that we're addressing it there, because
Yes.
a lot of the children out there, they're acting out because of the pressure that's placed on them. Oh, you're just like your father, you're just this, you're no good, you didn't. And that spew of negativity is coming from hurts and unresolved issues within the parents.
Yes.
And I said it years ago, and I remember, I don't know if you remember Teacher Alma, that she was heaven sent, a dark lady. Yeah. I told her if you're not careful, Angola's gonna experience an epidemic of, I don't want to say it on camera. So I'll leave. I just told her that we had some things to address, because I saw the culturally the role of the parent was changing. I grew up a latchkey child. The latchkey children today, they don't have the same kind of focus that I did. So latchkey children is Mr. Watley taught me this is in social studies. One Watley taught me this. You have a lot of parents that work in the hotel industry. I was one of them. My mom, when I was young, she was the executive housekeeper at Cap Jaluka. So especially when the season starts, when they're doing inventory and stuff, I wouldn't see my mom living in a house with my mom. I was a latchkey child, because I would get up, my clothes would be ready, she'd prepare all that stuff before she leave, she'd go to work, I'd leave to go to school. It was right there at George Hill to Valley Primary, best school on the island, and you would just walk. And then you just walk back home, and then she wasn't there, so I was turning the lock myself. That's the term, latchkey child.
Okay.
Children are doing that again today. But they're raised by TikTok, they're raised by social influences, they're raised by YouTube, they're raised by everything that they can get themselves. And the biggest thing we had to deal with back then was BET. But there was community. My mother would be able to tell me which path I took to get home. Like, come on, you don't see that now. I remember back in the day, Miss Jacobs, Daphne Jacobs, she stopped me on the road. Now, we're family, but she stopped me, my friends on the road, because we had our shut out of our pants. She was like, that's not your uniform. I don't care if your parents buy that. That's the uniform. It's a representation of the school. Put your shirt in your pants. That can't happen today. So I'm happy that we're addressing the community side of parenting, the parent side of parenting, because like, we are parents today. Who would have thought that Ivan would have had 2 children, one of them 13, 5, 11, and all of a sudden he's lost his ears? I can't wait to see what's in this program, because I think I know I never used to listen, right? But my listening, he not listening is totally different. Because my sister and my niece will be like, but he just like you. I say, I was never like that. And they say, oh, really? And they start to give stories and they just walk off, because I'm not ready to face that. But
that's why the program is.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to help me. You have to help me.
So what we did in the research and in the interactions with persons, we came up with a set of focus areas that parents identified as being some of the most challenging. So we've placed them on the I'm gonna have to refer eventually to my
that's
list.
fine. I'm ready.
It's
I can't wait till you lunch on Thursday. You do understand? Help me.
Yes. But it's a series of over 39 lessons, 39 topics, and we've developed basically a curriculum.
Oh, nice.
And persons are going to be engaged in conversation with facilitators. But it's not just conversation, it's conversation of identifying challenges as a parent based on the topic you've identified as one of your most areas that you need to address. It's a lot of introspection, and it's a lot of identifying as a group some of the best solutions or approaches you could take to challenge whatever issue that you're facing.
So this is something online, or people going to have to come to our program?
We're going to be working a lot through existing entities, through the churches, we know that we have the Zenaida Haven and we have the White Cedar. We're going to be working with the parents of these young persons. We want to be working with our our dads who are in prison, who are possibly on parole or about to be released.
Yeah,
we're going to be working with existing audiences. We're going to be working with the health centers, our pregnant or expectant parents, mom and dad. They are sort of what is it that you should know. So the delivery or the execution of those programs, it won't be Hyacinth delivery. It's a set of facilitators in different settings. So we could call on Dr. Singh, and Dr. Singh would identify, okay, Hyacinth, my clinics for my children are on the first Thursday in the Western Clinic, for example. They've sent their schedule, and everybody comes for example, 1 o'clock to see. Yes. So we'd have a power hour for an hour, 1 hour and a half. So those parents who have children, whatever is the definition of the children based on who Dr. Singh is seeing that day, they will participate in a power hour session, an hour and a half of discussion and deliberations. What we've realized in those sort of audiences, we realize persons have the same issue. A lot of us have the same issue. The difference is how we respond, how prepared we were to be adults, our experiences, our exposure.
I'm excited.
Right? How we respond. So what persons will realize is like, oh my God, I was feeling that way. That issue, I'm affected by it. But so Ivan had that. I would never believe Ivan goes through the same issue. So it's an opportunity to engage, and persons feel better by saying, oh, I would never imagine. So it's an opportunity to speak. We're going to be working a lot through the Community Development Center. Again, the topics that we're delivering on or that we're engaging, and you realize I'm using the word engaging on, the conversations we're going to be having are based on what the community or the groupings would identify as their challenge.
I hope that Sunday night service in the churches is replaced with this stuff.
That's actually one of the one of the strategies I'm trying to use. I'm working with one church now, so during I believe the Wednesday night they would have identified, instead of coming for the it would be still a prayer meeting, but it would be a discussion on one of the main challenges.
Yeah, church has missed that function. This is exciting. I hope the radio stations, I hope you capture the audio for these things and put it out there. I hope you develop your YouTube channel and the children them could kind of stumble upon it too, and then for real. Okay, shut up.
I'm looking for, that's why I'm gonna be working closely with you. Ivan. I'll roll out, because remember I work with people, through people, can do everything. And in order for us to have a buy-in, for it to be reflected as community, as a national program, everyone has to be on
But I just tell you I need help.
I love this, because every time Ivan comes on here, I hope you have had that follow-up meeting with
that's
Johnson.
gonna happen.
So I'm just holding you accountable.
Yes, you do that.
So we're gonna ensure that this parenting program.
No, I love this.
I love
this.
Ivan, I'm going to be on your case.
You gonna help? Yes, you have to help.
We will discuss.
She's gonna help. I'm putting it on record. She's gonna help. No, it's all hands in now.
Yes.
If we are going to save our youth, this is a practical, this is a measurable, this is what we've needed. If you're being honest, I'm not tooting your horn. I don't even know why you drive, but I'm saying this is what we needed. No, this is what we needed for real. We've been praying. We've been trying to piecemeal approach to these things. This is holistic. This is going to the root of the problem. I've never seen anything like this. I applaud you. I'm happy. I know everybody has been doing their thing, but to bring it under one umbrella, that's just it. An umbrella shelters and a lot of people, parents, children, including even the unborn, need sheltering. You have some people right now probably pregnant and scared.
Yes, and that's what, again, we want to work with. That's Dr. John at the, again, health.
Okay.
So I've been given I'm working closely with a coordinator through Health Authority. So again, we're trying our best to ensure that we target key persons. So I'm going to have, of course, the school is on board. I work really closely with teacher Rita, Mr. Bren Romney was one of the persons that really supported that. So a lot of persons are on board to ensure that rolls out. We have social entities, we have the Seroptimist, we have a lot of different, again, associations, clubs. We really want, persons have pledged their support.
I love it.
I remember one of my colleagues say, Hyacinth, parents, I'm on board.
I love it.
Yeah,
I feel better about society.
To support our persons. So I wanted to share with you the different, just 4 sections. So we're going to be focusing, we have a series of topics on the preparing for parenting. Preparing for parenting. We have when parenting.
I think I've seen sight of this.
Yes. Building more resilient families. Okay, and we have supporting parents. So we look at different aspects. And even if we've spoken about 39 topics, persons are not necessarily going to be asked to attend all 39 topics. We've again sent through a survey that we ask persons to please complete. I'm going to be working with Jade through Flow to ensure that at least it goes through the phones, that you identify as a young person, you identify as a parent right now among those 39, given this time of year, given your personal feelings now, your emotions, your sentiments, which of these topics you think that would have the greatest impact for you now? And based on that selection, we create some sort of program or one of discussions or a series of discussions to ensure that at least you get that topic, you benefit from that interaction.
I love it.
What we're also trying to do is to facilitate for parents with young children, and that's going to be done through the youth centers. So if there's 1 or 2 parents that really need to come, as a center manager or as a community person, you really know that that person has an interest or that person has openly expressed an interest, but they have 2 young ones. I pay like $10 an hour sometimes to take care of my 6-year-old. If me and my husband have to go out and get some family. You gotta ask around. So we're trying to create some sort of babysitting opportunity, so the center managers could identify 2 or 3 responsible young persons who they supervise and supervising the babies in the center while the parent participate in that engagement to get the opportunity.
I am thoroughly impressed.
So
we've thought of the obstacles, because a lot of times there are obstacles to being able to access services. So I'm happy to hear that. Yes. I'm happy to hear that, because one of the things that I was thinking even as you were speaking was, where was the opportunity for, we use this term, unattached youth, but the unattached parents, those who aren't necessarily in the churches or aren't going to clinic, but you said the community center, that is the space that fills that role. And I'm happy to hear that we have.
I can add something that you said there. Remember, when the Minister for Home Affairs was here, he was saying that every HR director in the hotels right now is a local. Those are captured audiences as well. Maybe you need to get in the hotels and have a program for the parents there, because they have time, and let that be part of their enrichment and stuff, because better parents at home mean better employees on the job.
We have a lot of ideas. And,
nice. High five. I want a high five. Good job.
We have a lot of ideas on in the pipeline. What again, sustainability and impact. Funding, yes.
Is there?
Funding is always a challenge.
Okay, so let me tell you something. I do this every episode.
Yes.
So what you do, right, is you look in that camera right there, and it goes directly to the premier.
Oh,
Which is the Ministry of Finance, and you tell them what you want.
Yes.
So funding, how much do you want?
A lot.
Oh my God. You can't give a figure. Budget time coming up.
Budget, yeah.
Budget
We're going to
time.
do that, and I'm going to have a figure for you during our formal lunch.
All right. Thursday we're going to have a figure premiere.
Oh,
Thursday we
yeah.
have a figure. All right.
Yes, but what... It's not that you believe in piecemeal, but you believe in ensuring that when you do launch a program or when you roll out or implement something, you ensure that it have that impact. So you could have the impact with doing 5 or 6 engagements.
Yeah.
And you ensure that you get the persons, you see results. So we have a lot of ideas on paper. We have a lot of things in the pipeline, and I want as many recommendations as possible how best we could address and we could reach our parents. That's why we had the engagement and the focus groups and the questionnaires and the interviews, etc. How best can we meet you? Can we engage with you as a parent? So there's the obstacles. There's the parenting having younger ones. There's parents who have multiple jobs. We complain sometimes to say, oh, she or he left their children at home, but economics.
Latchkey children.
Things like, how can we meet them? You spoke about the HR managers in the hotels, right? We spoke about different timelines. So is it in the morning? There's a session that's going to be held during the morning time, when the older persons are at clinics. Okay.
Nice.
So there's different, we look at different settings, different areas to have as much impact as possible. Most persons have flagged or have identified the evenings as the best times.
Is there any plans to utilize the relationship with KCN and
Mr. Pickering, yes, we've already had a discussion.
Right.
He reached out, thanks again, Mr. Pickering. So he's reached out and he's going to assist again with that the media component along with you.
I love it. Right in there.
Yes, so Mr. Pickering has reached out. We know that a lot, because it's been in the pipeline for some time. A lot of persons are aware. Some persons know, that was never launched. How comes? They're like, no. We want to really plan it properly, have a solid foundation, so when it launches, has the impact. It really meets the objective.
Let me tell you an interesting story. I had a conversation with a young lady last night. Young. Under 25 for sure. And I asked her, like, as a young person, like, what's your gripe with not the government of the day, but governance in Angola and where Angola is going? And you know what she said? Not enough emphasis is placed on issues and the areas of social development. She doesn't have a child, but she can identify that there are social ills and brewing ills and challenges that we have to address. And I'm happy to hear this stuff now, because again, this deals with the root of the problem. Like, I remember, we talk about this, back in the day, if you're going to want to learn to swim, they're going to throw you off a boat. You know, much people got fears, deep-rooted fears because of that now. Just the way we used to do things, we just grandfather them in and they don't work now, they don't connect. So it's important with these things that you're doing, but I'm happy to see that an area so important in social development is going to get some limelight. Yeah,
you did say this deals with the root of the problem, but I want you to rephrase that into a positive take, because what you're transferring is that the parenting, there's a pro, and the parenting is basically the nucleus. Let's take it to say that this deals with the solution. So if we correct, if we engage, if we discuss,
nice,
then we have the solution.
I agree with that, because I remember when I first positioned my my whole entrepreneur venture, my business, I used to say that I offer a set of strategies, solutions that ultimately leads to results.
So
And
you
that's
take
what
the
this
part,
is.
you do the yes. Let's and that's what I want us to start to engage in our dialogues, in our engagement, when we refer to a troubled child or at-risk child. Let's use the. We know it's an issue. We know it's a challenge, but how can we improve? How can we find a solution? How can we take a better approach to addressing that challenge?
I used to say Angular problem was Anguillians, and I stopped saying it. I was convicted, true as day, and I started saying Angular solution is Anguillians. Something as simple as that. I mean, I get that what you're saying. That's why I talked and mentioned earlier about even getting this in radio. There's too much negative content out there. There's negative content in the radio shows. There's negative content in the music. Like everywhere, there's just negativity. So,
but one of the things that I'm getting from this as well is that it's a tool and an opportunity to empower parents.
Excellent.
And I think a lot of times parents don't feel empowered.
I supported.
Supported. So that's
and an empowered parent is one that can better advocate for themselves, better advocate for their children. They can better anticipate their own needs or the needs of their child, and to be able to be part of the solution, because that is ultimately what we want. And so again, I've said this so many times in this one episode, and I don't mean to say it to feel as if though we have everything riding on the shoulders of this program, but it is a program of such magnitude that
I feel as if we do.
I don't want to, but I'm just saying that.
No, I'm serious. I'm not even joking.
It is something that I look forward to. You know, there's so many challenges, and a lot of times we have challenges in our society. Everything is taboo or hush hush, and we don't want to speak. And so when you spoke about, when Mary Jane goes to the clinic and she realized that, Jane Doe still have the same issues, like, you got that too. It usually allows us the opportunity to feel safe and speaking, and I want to see more of, and I've been speaking about this for quite some time, more safe spaces for persons. So whether that is parents or just persons within the community, to feel safe to speak about and are you safe? Because they're safe.
They're safe. Safe too.
Yes,
that's another program, and I didn't even speak about our mental health.
We got a few minutes to wrap up. I'll bring all of that in.
Yes,
but I'm excited for this space that parents can have, that they can share some of, not just, like you said, not just the challenges that we face as parents, because let's be honest, we all face,
of course,
challenges. You can have the easiest of child and there'll still be some challenges, but we also learn from each other and we learn solutions.
That is it. We also want to use some of the conventional places, like under the tree, where persons engage, during a game of dominoes. We want to use
construction sites where the fathers walking, like maybe having lunch, go there. Like.
That is it. Yeah, we want to use different areas again just to have that conversation, because believe it or not,
I really love this.
Believe it or not, I may have planned and have been prepared to be a parent. I guess, for some persons has happened to be parents, and we expect everyone to naturally become the best version of that. We are aware that there are challenges with our young people, but there's also a lot of challenges in our homes. There's broken marriages, there's economic issues, there's mental health challenges, and our young persons respond. I always say that fights and cussing and stuff, it's a response to a deeper issue.
I know that for a
So,
fact.
so let's work with the nucleus. We say the home is the foundation. Let's work with our parents. These are the first people that that we see as a human being. Let's work with them. Let's identify the challenges, the shortcomings. Let's find solution among ourselves. Taking the solution, the approaches. Let's change the way we speak, the way we approach persons, the way we deal with our challenges, and let's see how that will feed into more positive energy, stronger hold.
Let me ask something quickly before you get the last 9 minutes. We can try to get this stuff
really
out.
passes.
Hour really passes.
Yes.
We have all this on paper. We develop the programs, the talking points, and all this stuff. Where is the real life situations? Have you had anybody go through the material, and what's the success rate so far and stuff? Because I know you're not just putting something out there that hasn't been tested and you ain't have no real life situations, person that you're interacting with already.
I must say that the topics, again, I would have shared that they were identified by parents. Okay, so that's one. So what is on paper is not, I didn't just take it from a book. Persons identify over
you
our
have to
20
say those things.
Yes, over our 20 focus groups. We had some, as I shared again, in Spanish, we had in English, we had the school identifying some parents, we had PTAs, we had persons who work in the social development areas. So our people, our Anguillian people, our locals, our residents, they identified those topics, these issues, those challenges. So that's one. Secondly, the development of the programs, of the sessions, of the lessons, the formation of the curriculum were done by our local people. Okay? So we had retired and current teachers. We had persons in the social development areas, persons in the probation sectors. We had bodies, groups of persons, parents, counselors, persons in churches, leadership roles, formal and informal leaders who helped craft and develop the content. Okay, we had a local consultant. I would have worked with Mr. Sanford Richardson. I would have worked with two other individuals on island who help with walking the walk, walking the street to get the involvement, get the input from young persons. So it's what is presented. It's a result of those engagements. And what I've been doing since then, I would have called back some persons, you have key persons that you really believe, and they will tell you, I really need that support. My son is in that area. My young daughter is there. Who have been called, I have so much challenges and I really need that support. So we've called them back and say, Miss so-and-so or sir, remember, a year ago or 2 years ago, it may seem a bit long. You identify some of these topics. Now we finalize the program. We're about to roll out, and I want to ensure that you really get the benefit of that engagement, the dialogue. These are some of the sessions. Which of these topics you think you most need right at this moment? These are the three. One are the help. That's it. What do you need to ensure that you attend? Do you need, like last night, we had an interaction, a session, and one of the persons, they were mobile, they left and they picked up. Give me 5 minutes. I said, of course. They went, they picked up the parent because that parent had no transportation. And that person came and they benefited from that interaction. So that is by Anguilla, for Anguilla.
Like I said a few minutes ago, Anguilla's solution.
That is it.
Anguilla.
Yes. So it's not foreign. It means some person, not everybody will know, of course, this particular topic, but a parenting support program is not foreign. Persons would have heard about that sometime down the road. Persons will continue to hear about it. Now is to ensure that the opportunity is provided, the environment is created to facilitate the attendance and the participation of our parents, particularly of those who it's critical in need of that support.
Awesome.
I want to kind of go back a little bit. Not maybe as direct as Ivan, but I know a lot of what you do is based on partnerships. If someone, an entity, employer, is interested in bringing this on board, can they do so? And how?
Well, they could reach out to me at the Ministry of Social Development and Education, telephone number 497-3930, or email hyacinth.bradley@gov.ai. And we could facilitate that. We have facilitators. We have persons who are trained and who also help develop those lesson plans, and who would have benefited and participated in parenting programs both locally, through the church, and the region. They are there to facilitate. So you may want that program in your business. I would share with you the topics you engage. We really don't want, I guess, employers to just identify, I want this, that for my parents. We really want the parents to be part of identifying the topics that they most need.
Okay.
We set up a schedule with that individual, that employer, identify the facilitators, the topics, and we coordinate that.
How will you measure success of this program? You answered that already, but it's at the end now. If somebody join later, I want them to know that this thing's thought out thoroughly.
It is the. We're still finalizing the success because it's so. It has so many multiple, it's like an octopus. We have to, what is it that we really want? We want stronger families. How now do you assess stronger families? We'll need to work with a group of families that have been participating, and after a period of time, 6 months, 3 months, they would say, okay, they may have, at every session, we want to have evaluation. What did you start with? What have you learned? And again, we'll meet you down the road a couple months ago. Have you been using those strategies? So it's gonna be multi-pronged in terms of assessing, because of the approach, the multiple approaches. We'll have different areas, but we are putting a group together who's going to be leading on the M&E of that program. It's critical, and I'm glad that you asked that.
Awesome. I'm done. The rest is yours. I'm good.
So we have a few minutes left, and it would be remiss of me to not use this opportunity. We've covered quite a bit on the parenting program, and I know coming in, Hyacinth said to me, she said, I want to focus on this aspect because it's so much, and I'm glad we're able to cover it. I, for one, am looking forward to this program, because when I think about it and I think of my friends, probably only 1 or 2 other friends have parents, and so you don't really get that opportunity to, and there are different ranges, and you don't really get that opportunity to speak necessarily with other parents about some of the challenges and, like you say, solutions to some of those challenges. So this would be a great opportunity to do so. But beyond this, there's another aspect, and there's something else that you do in your role as community service planner, and we're going to speak for the next minute about SAFE and the psychosocial and mental health hotline, and what that looks like, and definitely to put that number out there so that persons are aware that support and resource is available.
Okay, excellent, thank you. So we have a 24-hour mental health and psychosocial support hotline. Okay, we want to thank Digital and Lime who have provided that. So the number spells SAFE. So you have no 584 or 476 before. It's just SAFE. That's 7. You spell SAFE, you use your phone, and you could spell 7 SAFE.
And I am going to pull my phone.
Good. And you spell the word
I usually
SAFE.
don't.
So you could call that number, or at whatever time you want to speak, you want to just share some of your challenges, concerns. So we do have a mental health crisis hotline available, and we also have within, again, the ministry, you'd have spoken to Dr. banks, and I work
Yes.
closely in that area along with some other colleagues trained in mental health, counseling, psychosocial, etc., where we provide sessions, training. We've had a series of sessions with our men in security, and we want to continue that. How do you deal with issues, personal challenges you have, and how can you better manage? But more importantly, because we don't have a lot of time left, we really want to let persons know that we have a safe hotline, 24-hour toll-free, so you don't need to have any money on your phone, and it doesn't really show up on your phone bill. So it's free of charge if you want to call and engage at whatever time to just speak. There are support on the end. There are trained persons on the end to speak with you, to support you.
Confidential persons.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I think that is so important.
That is-
And, the number is 7233, and you can call that number again, toll free,
Yes.
without credit. You can have a $0 balance. It operates like a 911 call.
Yes.
And Ivan, you say I run this show, so I'm going to ask in post-production that if we can have that number just running across
That would be
the
really
bottom
good.
of the screen, so that person's, even if you didn't hear me say 7233,
safe.
you can see it on your screen.
I
There's
want-
In
and so-
English and Spanish. Oh.
And so Hayo is going to say a little bit of that in Spanish in the next.
Bueno, estamos hablando de una línea que tenemos para ayudar gente con problemas mentales que quieren hablar de situaciones personales. Tenemos esa línea que es libre de 24 horas, 7 días del día de la semana, número 7233. Okay.
All right.
you.
And I just want to put a plug here. I know some of the branding that I've seen where this is concerned, it has battered or abused women and stuff on this. Anybody can call this line.
Anybody,
Yes.
from
Anybody.
domestic violence to financial. You just want to talk. You have
You
an
just wanna
issue. Something is on your mind. You just want
You
to
get up
listen
1
in ear.
o'clock in the morning and
Yes.
you need somebody to talk to.
Have a-
7233.
That's right.
Safe, toll free.
All right, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another excellent episode of Progress Report. You're listening to us today, Tuesday. I don't even know what day. Thursday, this program will be launched, the National Parenting Program. We're going to have a live launch of this via the government channels on Thursday. I'm excited. I had just like a little inkling of what this was supposed to be because we've spoken.
Yes,
but
definitely.
this is major.
Very comprehensive.
This is very comprehensive. I am thoroughly impressed. I want to say thanks from now. This has been desperately needed to everyone involved, all departments involved. And I said it when the minister was here, you can see the tangible work of certain ministries, but social development and education is what's going to hold it together and undergird everything that we're seeing, and that's the truth about it. So
It's people development.
people development, and that's where we're at. I'm happy for this, and I will leave us at that. This has been great, and we'll see you on the next one.